The show features adults using adult language and discussing mature topics. You have been warned.
2 is also, I found, the
And we're
easiest
live.
in a way. Oh, nice.
I
Because you have so much
I gotta be
fucking
honest.
healing.
I could talk about Dark Souls 2 all day, but we got a game.
Fair, yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hello there.
Hey.
Welcome to Corruption Crew. I just realized my background is not necessarily corruption themed, but whatever.
Close enough.
That's purple.
So does anybody want to recap what the heck was going on last time?
I do not remember, to be honest. I think everybody else is split up and they're doing their own thing.
Yes. So in our last session, I believe Cyberus and Gruk were doing research on the Gruk at least was doing research for his stick.
Mm-hmm. He was calibrating his staff. Yeah.
Yes. I think Demona was doing more mercenary stuff as usual.
I was working on spells, thank you very much.
Mercenary stuff as usual.
Calibrating
Yeah.
her spells.
Calibrating her spells.
It's not inaccurate.
Cyberus, I don't remember what Cyberus was doing. We can't hear you, Luke. We can't hear you
No,
at all.
can't hear you.
It must have switched your audio to something else. Audio input. Nope.
How about now?
Yes,
There we
now.
go.
Now.
Too many options.
Mhm.
All the options.
I said Cerberus was getting calibrated by someone else.
That's what they're calling it.
I think
He had a whole
That's what
team.
kids are calling it these days.
Did Onyx go on a date? I'm trying to remember.
No, Onyx and Passion went to Rosa Gallica first to meet with for Passion to meet with the proselytizer. Then they went to Neo Radami to meet with Jacob, and but he wasn't there. So unfortunately, we said, "Hey, can you have James call us later, and then we'll talk with him." Oh, and Onyx offered to be potentially the person in charge of the PCC building.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the session, we all got called back together to Rockies, where he had an offer, a job opportunity for us, where we're going to be going to what's it called again?
It's a diplomatic
Los
mission.
Los Angeles.
That's right.
On a diplomatic mission to convince them not to murder us.
I was like, I remember talking something about transport via plant last session.
Yes, you actually traveled to Los Angeles.
Oh,
planted
that's right, I'm in
waited, and
reconnaissance.
came back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I
It's
smart.
actually really smart.
I smart good.
And then we were waiting for Rocky to be ready for us to send us.
Yeah.
That sounds like
so-
a picture show waiting to happen.
So there was actually a slight tidbit to that. You guys had been asked to go to Los Angeles because you were being sent on something of a diplomatic mission. Because the city of Los Angeles is one of those that are kind of on the fence of how they are handling the fallout from the burner event and from the murder of the anarchist. And as a group of people that are situated uniquely somewhere between the world of Radix and that of Del Diablo, it seemed like you guys would be a good option. Rocky told you that one of the lords and ladies was going to meet you here at his club so that they could give you a charm that would protect you, especially considering many of you have charms that are beyond Rocky's reach, or
I'm
corruption
fine.
levels that are beyond Rocky's reach at this point.
Oh yeah, also
and-
Passion revealed to Rocky that she is no longer corrupted and can't be corrupted.
And they were also going to go ahead and do the ritual to induct one of your motley crew into the ranks of the hierarchy.
Demona.
So I'll say, Rocky is like, they should be here shortly. You guys want to drink or anything before they get here? Is there anything you guys want to do while waiting for whichever one of the lords and lady is coming? You don't know which one it'll be.
Sampler platter.
Sure. It has all sorts of like appetizer stuff that you get at a bar, like
Kat's thinking she's never been to a bar.
okay,
If
bite
we've been to
me.
this place before, this is something
I-
Cyberus would have gotten
Yeah.
every time.
I love that. I just like, and then just dead air. I'm like, Kat's never
No,
been
my
to a
brain
bar.
my brain was trying to come up with a word, like jalapeno poppers. That's what they're called. I
Yeah.
just couldn't come up with a word.
Nachos,
Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Pretzels.
deep fried,
Um,
deep fried pickles.
Deep
Those
fried
things are
lots of
amazing.
things.
Pretty
Yeah.
much anything you could get in a bowling alley.
Pretty much.
And I'll say after about 5 or 10 minutes or so. Sorry, I just saw. There we go. You guys hear the music in the club gets louder and the crowd becomes a lot more chaotic and excited.
Mhm.
And a moment or two after that, you guys see a elven man walk in. He's wearing like a sort of fishnet shirt and leather pants, and his hair is dyed like 4 different colors back, and it's the very long hair, and you guys can easily see that swirling cloud of numbers and code around this individual's head, indicating that this is walking nirvana, possessing another individual. So I hear that one of you are to join our ranks. Yes.
It was the plan.
Fabulous. So we can do this. Yes, this sounds good. You are to be a boss, the head of one business currently. So first, do you have any resistances to poison or diseases or anything? It's fine, regardless. And they reach out and touch Demona's shoulder. And if you have resistance to poison or disease or immunity, which I don't think you do, it is dispelled. And he turns around and snaps his fingers through the door, and another individual comes in. It's a like a halfling with. I'm sorry, I don't know why my phone is ringing.
Popular.
A halfling comes in, and instead of having like proper hair, they have like a crown of feathers, and they're holding a very large box. And he says, "So, I'm going to present you with 4 challenges that will help you expand your vision and see the world in a different light. First is the trial of water." And he reaches into this box and pulls out a like bottle about yay big or so of a very clear liquid, and they pass it over to you.
I would take it.
You must drink the whole thing, and if you could, go ahead and make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, great. It's that kind of water. Ironic handing the fire mage fire water. Constitution. Okay. That's an 18.
Okay. It's strong. It is very, very strong. Probably like 180 proof. But you're still standing. It tastes like gasoline.
I'm sorry.
But at the moment,
Giving gasoline to the
You're
fire
standing.
mage.
I was thinking
Irony.
it. Yes. I'm not about to lose another arm, am I?
and they just sort of stand there and watch you for a minute as you finish it off. Good. This is excellent. Okay, next. And reaches into the into the box and pulls out a small wooden bowl that has like a lid on it, and opens it up to reveal a like 6 or 7 dried out mushrooms. He says, next is the Trial of Earth. This will help you expand your vision beyond the rough land that we walk
I was
on.
fucking right. He's just testing to see how well Demona can party.
And that one would be another con save.
All right. Not what I was expecting. I was starting to think I was becoming the Avatar.
You think this is a con job?
Technically, it is 17 on that one.
Okay. It's actually weird. So when you look at Walking Nirvana, you can see the individual, and then you see that little cloud, almost a halo of spinning numbers and symbols around the head. As you swallow that mushroom and you feel it start to have an effect, you can now see the code of Walking Nirvana sort of in this in this person's body, almost overlaid over them. But you're aware of where you are, at least, and not completely tripping out.
I have to ask.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm seeing the code, does that mean all 4 of my eyes are now reflecting the code? So instead of the Technicolor that they normally are, they're pulling down the matrix?
Sure. And he says, and then the Trial of Air. And he reaches in and pulls out a small, like, pipe. And then he doesn't even actually... Fuck off, Vex! He doesn't even actually use fire to ignite it. It just sort of starts to smoke automatically as soon as he hands it to you. If you would. Another con save as you breathe in the potent smoke from this one. And it doesn't smell like weed. It smells like something entirely different that you're not familiar with.
Yoda? Sorry, been playing a little too much GTA 5 lately.
Con save.
Coming up. Please don't fuck me over now. Okay, this is weird. 16. This is...
Okay.
keeps going down.
It's a lot. You're actually starting to see, like, you're looking at the rest of your friends and you're seeing that same code overlaid and you're like, okay, I'm seeing double, triple, and then you're realizing that they look different. The codes do not look the same. Like, you're starting to see things.
There a 2 in there somewhere?
And he says, and finally, the test of fire. You'll like this one. It's not what you think it is. And he reaches in and pulls out a, like, sort of glass dome, and inside the dome is a small scorpion. He says, finally, the trial of fire. You must endure the sting of the fire scorpion, which I will warn you does inflict incredible pain, but will not kill you. Are you ready?
Sure.
He takes the glass off and holds out his hand for your arm, and then just plops the little scorpion down in your hand. And it sort of like crawls up your arm for a second, and you're sort of like, what happens if it doesn't sting me? And as soon as you think that, it jumps and the stinger sinks into your flesh. Demona, you haven't felt the full intensity of fire in decades, but this feels like your blood is boiling. I need another con save.
Jeez. Please don't screw me over. 21.
Okay. You're nauseous, your head is pounding, you're sweating, which is very strange for you. It's not a thing that you're familiar with usually. And you can almost, like, you can feel the veins pulsing in your temples. It's incredibly painful, but you are still standing.
Quick question. If an Ember eye is sweating, wouldn't that basically just be steam?
Yeah.
So you're saying
I'll
it's
say yes.
steamy in here.
And Walking Nirvana sort of just nods. That was good, yes. I like that. And he holds his hand out, and little scorpion actually just crawls up his hand and goes to perch on his shoulder. So, I will I bestow upon you the power of a boss within the hierarchy, which allows you to control one layer of corruption, which is not your own. You could... there are several different rules to this, but the basics are you can't control your own corruption, and you can swap out a specific layer or negate the effect of an individual's first layer of corruption. And the last thing that I bestow upon you is the gift of complete corruption. And he puts his hands on your shoulders, and you feel that you see that swirling code that makes up this individual's entire body, and that of your friends almost start to swirl all around you, and it almost makes you nauseous, and then that code merges with you. And you have this strange sensation of almost being thrust up out of your body, and see yourself looking down. You can see yourself with this possessed elf's hands on your shoulders, and looking up, you can see not the ceiling, but rather the eye of corruption above Del Diablo. And inside is swirling colors and galaxies and shapes that are at once familiar and completely alien. And then there's a rush, and you feel yourself back in your body. And you now have your full, I believe it's 7 layers of corruption.
Oof. How sure am I this isn't all a vision from all of these trials that I just went through?
You're not. You have no idea. You are incredibly high right now.
You're higher than passion is on a normal day.
Incredibly.
Wow. Okay. So,
Fluffer
slight
nutter.
note: Demona's never done drugs. What'd you say, Scotty?
Not a critical role joke. It's like fluffer nutter.
Oh God.
There was a character that was super
That
high.
sounds like
and
a
that was
Yeah, not the high.
Fantastic.
I loved that one.
Fantastic idea. Give Demona gunpowder while high.
Yep.
He says, so, I believe you were looking for charms to go outside of the city then, yes?
Gruk's not here, right? I'm in Los Angeles.
No, I think you came back.
Yeah, you came back after a day to.
Yeah, because you guys had
Before.
like 2 or 3 days to prep. Cyberus did a bunch of like going around and shopping, and
Okay,
Gruk,
I'm gonna.
you like hopscotch through the fucking plains to get to Los Angeles and then back home.
I mean, as you do, as a high-level
Yeah.
spellcaster.
He
I'm-
traveled through the nether to get here.
I'll do the long rest thing. I didn't do that at the end of last session. Okay. And then I go, well, won't Demona be able to give us the charm now?
She would, but for those of you that have many more layers, it won't last quite as long. Looking at Gruk, Cyberus, and now Demona.
I'm good. I don't need any.
I don't mind being a guinea pig.
You can do that anytime.
It's true. Would you like to try Demona?
Grok steps forward.
Probably trying to keep her head from,
Exploding.
well, falling off
You're
her
probably
shoulders.
like, and you just like touch my
No.
face, and you're just like,
No, it's Demona.
Frog man.
He's trying to stop herself from punching you and applying.
You used to be a frog.
I can smell your voice.
Oh, moving. Can try.
He's not moving at all.
Yeah, she would.
So you guys have seen now, I think, 3 different people put these charms on you. And everybody's is a little different, just that it requires physical contact between you and the person you're putting the charm on. So however you would like to describe it, you can.
I did come up with something just as a quick little idea. Demona would reach towards the back of Gruk's hopefully extended hand and simply tap, and it would do a quick load, like a an entrance stamp to the club in the demon dog's 4-eyed dog head symbol.
Okay, cool.
Neat.
And then... Yeah, I'll say that you can give them to everyone else.
Sorry, Zoom chat.
But you cannot give it to yourself, so you'd have to have another person do that for you. It could be Rocky or it could be Walking Nirvana.
If Gruk died right there and exploded, that would have been the funniest thing.
Let's be honest. It would be on brand.
I would have been totally
Yeah.
fine with that.
She would turn back towards the Walking Nirvana, considering she completely high as hell, not even sure how that worked in the first place.
They reach forward and just put the palm of their hand to your forehead. And it's almost weird. You almost feel that cloud of corruption that seems like it's sort of swimming in your vision part for a second. It feels like a cold compress on your forehead, which is not a thing that Demona's really used to being relieved by, but at the moment it feels kind of nice. And when he pulls back, you are charmed. So they turn around to Rocky. It's like, are you getting them transported, or do you guys have like a ride out of this joint?
We're just going to Los Angeles, right?
Might be best if Rocky sent us.
Fair enough.
Fair.
Probably should save my magic.
Yes. Also, we don't want to just show up there in an unofficial channel.
That
It's
is
official.
wise. Yes.
It's as official as it can
Susan
be.
did mention that to me.
Anything we do is official.
Let's not push our luck. For the most part, I think most of you should just not say anything. We do not need to cause another international incident.
He says, for what it's worth, Susan did want to warn you that the government of Los Angeles itself is relatively neutral at the moment. The surrounding cities are not so much. The city of Neo Tokyo was the hardest hit in the burner attack, and they are
Understandably
very likely
pissed off.
preparing for war.
Aren't they normally hit by giant monsters all the time anyway?
They are prepared for that. No one was prepared for the burners.
That's fair.
I've
But
heard that
just
you
so
can
that
get
you
really
know-
easy construction jobs there. Always in high demand.
That does sound correct, yes.
Either way,
Well,
You should probably handle it.
before we go, Demona, I'm gonna have to head back to the headquarters. I don't trust the staff being alone while we're away.
Not. The entire guild is set up as an organization. Why do you not trust them?
It is a powerful artifact, and we're not the only ones that know about it anymore. But if you trust your men and women, then I'll trust them too.
That is a big issue with the guild. Trust everyone. That's why we have you as a researcher. That's why we have Cyberus. That's why we have
sweet.
Ademska. Trust them.
I trust it doesn't come easy, but I'll work on it. So, how are we getting there again? Are we taking the van?
Rocky.
Rocky says, I have a teleportation circle I was going to send you to.
Perfect.
There's a individual in the city that I know by the name of Kishnarana. You would be teleporting into her magic shop, and she would have a place for you to stay if you need it.
All right.
Okay.
I assume this sounds like we have a place to stay if they're already hostile towards us.
Yes.
All right.
Anything you guys would like to do before you go into the teleportation circle?
Wait. Stretches
Onyx
a little
is
bit.
wondering why she's sent on a diplomatic mission.
Stretches a little bit. Does like the Dragon Ball Z leg stretch thing. It's like, yep, okay, I'm ready.
I know why you are, Hera, because you're the muscle.
Oh,
You're the bodyguard.
You're playing
I'm
B
there to-
diplomacy. You're
You're the
playing A
intimidation.
diplomacy doesn't work.
I'm the diplomacy. Everyone else
Onyx-
here is the backup in case diplomacy fails.
Onyx is plan B.
No, Onyx is plan Z. She is the last option we go to.
So you step into the portal, or step onto the teleportation circle, and it flashes, and you come to in a sort of darkened back room that doesn't have any lights on. And who of you is the first through? Actually, I don't think it matters. I don't think any of you.
I
fucks
think
have
all
dark
of us would be
vision.
at the same. I have dark.
I have
vision.
dark vision.
Oh, okay.
I think I
Oh,
have dark vision.
do
One
I?
second, let me check.
Don't I
I
get
don't
I
have
got it
dark vision.
installed.
I feel like Rye don't get it.
I don't
Some
get
Rye
it,
do.
but
That's the confusing thing.
I
think.
do have dark vision from Warlock.
Okay.
I believe.
do
Yes, I have
not-
devil sight.
I do not have it.
Also,
I
I, need
don't
to be
have
right
dark
back. I need
vision.
to blow my nose.
I've got
Okay,
night vision
so-
goggles that they turn on.
I mean,
I do have keen
Cyberus-
hearing.
Cyberus and Passion then see all around you is what looks like kind of a storeroom with various boxes and crates and packages all over the place. And Cyberus, you hear the sound, or not Cyberus, Onyx, actually possibly both of you, with your keener hearing. And also Demona, you as well, weirdly.
all the Rye.
Hear the
you mean?
sound of movement. Not all the ride, just those three. Hear the sound of movement and rustling from the other side of a door. And coming out of the door is a Yuan-Ti woman wearing like a midriff exposing dress or shirt and a thin sort of sheer see-through veil.
Very auntie. Nice.
So, you are the one sent by Rocky, yes?
Yes, that is us.
Yes, hello. I am Krishnara. You may want to step aside as your friends come in. And you guys can... The boxes in here are kind of stacked haphazardly. You got to kind of wind between them and everything. And she snaps her fingers and the light above turns on so that all of you can see everything in here.
I would like to hand her the takeaway appetizers that I got and say a gift from Del Diablo.
Thank you.
Did you just
You
give
should
her
always bring a gift when you visit someone.
Did you just give her leftovers as a gift?
No, they're still fresh.
Here are some leftovers.
Passion will just walk up to me. Nice to meet you. I'm Passion. And offer her hand.
She
Onyx.
shakes your hand.
Onyx just raises his arm. It's like, I'm Onyx. I'm the muscle.
And any of the rest of you?
My
Pretty
name's
strong.
Gruk. And you must have a lot of space if there's a spot for us to be able to stay.
Oh, yes. No, this is just the main floor. I have rooms upstairs.
As I'm,
Come, I'll show you.
as I'm looking around in the storage room, what all do I see in here? Maybe you were told this was a magic shop.
Most everything is stacked away in boxes. You can see a handful of, off to one side is a long workbench that does have various different tools, like what looks like a kind of carving implements, a handful of like wires and bits and pieces of which make like maybe jewelry or things like that. And all manner of like things that you would craft with. But at least in the way of magic items, everything is packed away in boxes at the moment. She says, I can show you upstairs where you guys would be bunking if you so need, or I can show you the actual
Gruk takes
shop if
interest
you'd
in
like.
the workshop, and he just pulls out his phone and takes a picture and he puts it away. And he's like, okay, sure.
Okay. So she'll lead you into the magic shop. Sorry, while I'm trying to find things.
Is it any kind of specialties of magic shop? Is it like mostly staves or?
She's like, I happen to do a little bit of everything. I happen to be this neighborhood's only true magic shop, so I kind of have a wide collection. You can see that the wall closest to the one where you come out of is a very tall glass case where everything is completely sealed in. And inside are all sorts of different devices that are shaped like about yay big or so, and on little tiny little risers themselves. Others that are like the shape that are a disc about like yay wide or so. And she says these are the remote weaponry things. I have to, of course, keep the more dangerous weapons sealed away a little bit, just because some folks have sticky fingers, and sticky fingers plus explosives usually mean a bad time.
Remote weaponry?
Explosives. Grenades.
I see.
Do you have a business?
I was thinking for a moment these were missile controls.
Do you have a business card?
I do actually, yes.
When she hands it to
she
me,
goes to the-
I immediately hand it to Demona. She sells explosives.
Oh.
I mean, and it's out of sector. Perfect.
Onyx, Oscar, do you? Okay, so here you have explosives, but do you have things that don't go boom?
Yes, I have a few things. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for? You can see through here, she's got it sort of roped up off into a couple of different, grouped up into a couple of different sections. There's the like wall of explosives right next to the door you guys came through. I'm sorry, is the cat like chewing on the bottom of your cup?
No, he just rubbed his face on it.
Okay. And then to the side of that is a wall of various different swords and war hammers, a like longbow, a handful of like punching daggers. To the next side is like 3 wands and 2 or 3 staves. And then the other half of the room is just a wide variety of miscellaneous stuff. You're guessing would be like the realm of wondrous items, like boots, a small area where a couple of capes are hung, various small trinkets and things like that.
Yeah, Onyx takes like one look at all the weapons, shrugs, it's like, those are not good presents, at least not for the people I'm thinking about, and then walks over to the other side.
You have a surprising amount of capital here.
Well, I have very good suppliers. Also, as I said, I'm the only one in this particular sector, so.
Makes sense.
When there is a moment,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to discuss trades.
Absolutely.
And she's going to hand back the item, so I'm not the thief that she was just speaking about, considering somebody just handed me an explosive.
No, I handed you a business
no,
card.
no.
A business card.
Oh, business card. I thought you said discus, and I thought exploding discus? You handed me that in the middle of the shop.
That sounds like a
Could be
thing to
both.
hand Demona.
It's like that ASDF comic. Here, can you hold this? Gives him a bomb. Walks away, comes back later. Thanks. Takes the bomb back.
Okay, I apologize. I completely misheard that. I would pocket the business card.
You're fine.
Yeah, Onyx would look for
Gruk goes outside.
presents. No,
Say that again?
presents. Onyx doesn't look for ruckus outside.
Oh, no.
Look for
I
presents.
Gruk goes outside. He doesn't like to
Oh,
be inside
Gruk
for
goes
long.
outside. I understood ruckus outside.
That's when you go outside.
No, Onyx stays inside. She's looking for presents.
Okay. Let's see.
For Chewie, for Lily. She's getting something for Seth because Seth keeps the fort down. He's at home. He deserves some recognition. He cooks really well. He makes sure the fridge is stocked. So yeah, she's looking for something for Seth.
Oh my god, a self-mending chew toy?
I don't
Sure.
think that would actually work for Chewie
It probably wouldn't.
because she's not chewing on things. She's just
Eating them.
she's
Yeah.
just
She's a
eating
person.
them.
She doesn't need like a chew toy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, she would
I
probably-
was
I was just
gonna say,
thinking
babies have chew toys.
that's also there mostly because it helps massage the gums and stuff, and she has so many
Mhm.
Yeah.
teeth. And I whatever.
But
I don't know.
she already has all her teeth.
She's a magical
doesn't
corrupted
need
entity.
more.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No, she'd probably like something nice.
Go ahead and roll a d100 for me.
And she also looks for something for what was her name
Lily.
again? No, not Lily too, but also the one they saved from the other city. and brought to
Cordelia.
Cordelia, yes. A D100. This one and where's the other? 96.
Okay. There's one that is a small like crystal jar that has a little label on there that says that it improves the complexion and beauty, and also gives one a slight perk up if they happen to be hungover.
This sounds perfect for Cordelia.
Cordelia is slightly offended. She's always flawless.
Another is a small stuffed toy that looks sort of like the shape of a wolf, but the colors of it are sort of like gradient rainbow colors, and you're sort of like, that's not really Chewy style, and as you walk past it, it actually like growls and crouches.
Ooh.
That is more
Yes.
style.
I think I'll get her this, and if she doesn't eat it, she may get a real pet at some point.
Love it.
Okay, so Radiant Alive plush for Chewie. A hangover concoction for Cordelia. All right, two presents.
Presence
Perfect.
achieved.
Two presents achieved.
Mhm.
At least two more.
Let's see. There are it's a pair of bracelets that at first you're sort of like, it's not really my style. They're sort of beaded, and it's like small ceramic beads. And as you pass it, you sort of just glance at the tag and you see that it reads that when the beads are like touched, the opposite bracelet will activate and turn a different color.
Mhm.
That's pretty gay.
And then a bunch of other like really minor, simple knickknack stuff. There's like a pillowcase that is enchanted to always be cool and relaxing, no matter which side, how long you've been laying on it.
Oh my god. I want it.
Hera's like, why did you have to introduce this to me?
A feather necklace that apparently seems to attract birds in the area.
The Disney princess necklace.
Onyx,
Yes.
does Seth like birds? Did you give this to him just to troll him? Just imagine, here, I have this necklace for you. It's really nice, right? You should wear it. Wears it. Like the next day, he just sits
Why the
there,
fuck
like...
are there all these birds?
And because it's like fucking Del Diablo, there's just like a bunch of two-headed pigeons in the room.
There's 50 Gruks just around there.
There's another one that is a potted plant, and you're sort of just looking at it and you're like, why is this in this section? And then you actually realize that the tag has like multiple tags on it behind it, like they keep getting added. And you see that this potted plant, this pot, when left in sunlight every 24 hours will grow a brand new herb each night.
Oh, that's so cool. We're getting this.
And I'll say that each of these is... How many of them did you get? I think it was 4 so far?
4, yes.
I'll say all 4 are 100 gold together.
It almost feels superfluous to like actually subtract gold at this point.
It does.
Unless...
Yes. It absolutely does.
I have 41,210 gold pieces on my character
Yeah,
sheet.
that's a move. It's like, oh yeah, I have to take gold. Oh no.
And technically I get more, right? Like
Every
it's-
month.
Yeah.
It's not every month, it's every year, I think.
No, it's every month, you said. You literally
We
said
can
every month.
restructure it.
No, it was every year. You're right. I think. I
Every
can't
year,
remember.
Yeah, it's
So-
a retirement.
Yeah.
I remember monthly.
I cannot remember which it was. Either way, we
think-
have a shit ton of money.
I think wasn't it we get a certain sum every month, but it
Yeah, I
comes
think it was-
down to like, and we got like a large sum up front, and then
No, we didn't get a large
like,
sum up front. No. Our first installment was our first installment of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
so
41
that day,
something.
Every
got
It's like
year
a
you
trick
get
question about how many
41.
pills you have to take.
Yeah, so every year on that day, you guys will get the like 41,000 or something like that.
It
We
won't
should have a
matter.
party.
Let's
Yeah,
be honest.
it's
it
basically the idea that he's lived long enough that he realizes it's smart to not get everything all at once and blow it on a stupid yacht that you then sink or something dumb like that.
All of Onyx got all the money at once. She wouldn't even know what to do with it.
That's
She
the
doesn't know
other reason.
what to do with the money right now.
She'd
That's
buy,
the other
get herself a
She-
yacht and never sail it because she hates the water.
A solid gold house.
No, that's the thing. She wouldn't get shit like that. Like that's like currently she's just like eyeing the money. It's like I hope
Hire an
this is enough.
archmage to make a simulacrum of you. A few times.
Ooh, a solid gold house for all your friends.
It's like
Make
2
to hide-
onyxes would just burn the world down.
Hera,
Not if they're
hire
made of
enough-
snow.
Make enough
Clone
simulacrums
clone
so that you
factory.
can make your own muscle henshin squad. You're welcome.
no, okay. Honestly, Onyx is like currently just eyeing the money, and she's like, well, usually I would probably just give everything away, and I think I said that she's actually she looked for stuff to sponsor with the money, but she's also like, okay, and now I have this kid that I have to take care of, so I'm looking like, okay.
I'm
to-
putting some away in savings for when
For
she goes
her.
to college.
Yeah, and also like making sure that she always has enough food because she eats a lot and she likes eating. Even though Onyx is not sure she actually needs to eat that much, but hey. Because it seems to be just a void. You can just like...
And well, after you guys do a bit of looking around, she does take you upstairs to a it's sort of like a loft. The main area at the front there is a very small like dining table that can just seat like 2 people, and small kitchen area, and then behind it are several like mats on the floor that are sort of like the I don't remember what they're called. They're like Japanese mattresses that are on the floor that
Yeah.
are sectioned off by curtains. She says it's not exceptionally elaborate, but it is places to lie
I've slept in
and
way
a
worse.
very safe place to stay.
I've slept way worse. That's fine. At least the walls doesn't have holes.
Wow.
Why would
You
they
Wow,
say
imagine being a
sleeping in
host.
for the last year.
Imagine being a host, and then one of the guests that you have is like, "I've slept in the worst."
She said it's not much. So
Yeah, she said it's not much.
Just being
so-
modest. But Gruk's like, okay. Oh, wait, I'm outside.
And Onyx
he goes
with
outside.
that actually, like when she says at least it doesn't have holes, she looks to Passion and gives her like a wink.
Passion rolls her eyes.
She says, so can I show you guys around the city, or do you just want to tackle it on your own? I believe that Rocky asked that I set you up a meeting with the current acting president.
Yes.
But that's not until a couple of hours from now.
All right. Yeah, it might be good to have someone to show us around.
Okay, very well. And she goes back into the goes over to like one of the areas that are roped up with the curtain and grabs a small bag and puts a beaded bag and puts it over her shoulder. Any sightseeing places you'd like to go? There's of course casinos on every corner and various different restaurants if you guys are hungry, or there is the Lost Library. That's something of a attraction for some folks. I don't know how many historians or arcanists you have among your party.
Do we want to
Three.
rob a casino before we go to the diplomatic thing?
I would
Let's
very
not.
much recommend not robbing.
Let's check
a
that
casino.
after the diplomacy fails.
It's not gonna fail.
What
I'm in charge
confidence.
of it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be ready for anything.
I would like to visit the library as well.
Very well. So she leads you through the city, and you can see the area of the city that she lives on is very much like a border. On the one side are just lights as far as you can see, flashy casinos and bars and sports arenas with neon lights as far as the eye can see and flashing ads. And on the other side are much simpler homes and all of the construction here, even the really ritzy fancy places, you can tell are manufactured from other things. As you guys, when you actually get to the outside, you can see that her home is actually the outside of it. The like siding of the building is probably similar to the metal that you would see on like a shipping container, even though the inside is very nice and comfortable. The ground that you're walking on is absolutely parched and dusty. It's kind of a miracle, Gruk, that you managed to get a tree to grow here. Probably more of like, I don't remember what level spell that was, but yeah, that. And she says, just so you know, when we get to the library, it's called the Lost Library for a reason. It's very easy to get lost inside, and their organization is non-existent. There is none. So if you have anything particular that you're looking for, it may take quite a bit of time. Just so that you're aware. Give me a second, I'm trying to pull up my PDF.
Do we need a library card?
No,
Or some
the
sort
library-
of ID or something?
No, the library is completely open to anybody who would like to visit. She leads you further into the sort of like rougher end of town, and here all of the buildings are clearly a lot of them are made from vehicles. And as you're sort of looking, she says it's probably rather obvious, but a lot of the things here, when people landed here, they just kind of used whatever they had to make a home, and it kind of just stayed. There are a number of like large, the like refrigerated sort of vans that have been made into homes and things like that.
Kind of cool.
It's very Fallout.
I was about to say, it sounds like Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah. And she leads you further into this sort of crazy mess of buildings that are like on the verge of falling apart, but also look very like well loved. They're old and ancient, but they're well taken care of. It doesn't look like they're going to collapse just because of their age. And I would like one of you to roll a d6 for me.
I'll do it. Dose.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I forgot to do a thing.
Rock explodes.
No.
It's not Demona's fault.
This time.
Don't worry, Scotty.
Demona hides the trigger behind her back. Wasn't me.
There.
She opens. She actually like looks up around where you guys are, and focuses for a second and casts a spell that.
Can I roll Arcana?
Actually, I think Cyberus might recognize. Yeah, go ahead and roll an Arcana, and I'll say, Cyberus, you can roll with advantage, because I think you're familiar with this one.
16.
13.
Okay. Gruk, you know, it's probably some kind of divination spell. Other than that, you're not entirely sure. Cyberus, you're pretty sure that's locate object.
I've done that.
And she goes
Wait.
to... she goes directly forward. Go ahead.
Oh, just when she did that, I would say, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for the door, actually. And she goes directly up to one of those shipping containers and pulls it open, and inside is very much... It is a brick wall at the end. Like in a castle sort of brick wall. It does not make any sense for any of the architecture in here. And she goes in and opens a wooden door that leads into a long tunnel that is that brickwork. She looks back. You guys coming?
Yeah.
She leads you further in, and out of this brickwork tunnel, you come into a narrow hallway that's only about like 5 feet wide and is absolutely packed with bookshelves. And they're like singular units of different shapes and sizes all crammed together. You look up and they are just stacked upon each other, up and up for as far as you can see, with ladders going up to the higher levels and bridging the gap between two sides of this area. And she says, "Welcome to the Valley Wing of the Lost Library."
Is this section about valleys?
No, it looks like a valley because it's a long hallway filled with books that just goes up for as far as you can see.
That makes sense.
I'm gonna start looking at books, see if I can find anything that they're using to organize them in any way.
I wild shape into a flying monkey.
Okay.
And I go
that looks
searching.
cool.
I want to just start walking down the line, seeing if there's anything that would catch my eyes.
All right.
Yeah, those tiny little monkeys where they have like the stereotypical like Italian guy with the accordion and does a little dance, like one of those,
Yes.
but with the big crow wings.
Nice. So, let's see what you can find. All right, so give me a second while I open the PDF. Okay. So Cyberus, you pick up a handful of, like, the first book that you pick up is a book that is titled Thomason's Guide to Mountain Living. The next one is a book called see. Sorrow's Guide to Underdark Herbs. Another that's called Tome of Wand Maintenance. It doesn't seem like there's any real rhyme or reason to what order they're in. And Krishnara says, yeah, you either come in here with a spell knowing what you're looking for, and even then the library tends to play tricks. The way that I was taught to think of it is that when you visit the Lost Library, you very rarely find what you're looking for, but you find what you're supposed to find, if that makes any sense.
Do I sense any sort of corruption of any kind anywhere?
Not in this area, no. Not from anybody other than your friends.
Okay. Must just be normal weird magic.
It's actually a little surprising. You look around to them and then see Demona glowing like a light bulb, which is a little different
and
than you
on
remember.
the complete opposite, Passion having no glow at all.
Yeah, you're just the void.
I am a negative.
Gruk is just searching around trying to find something that looks like something that would catch your eye, like an exotic looking binding on like some kind of spell book or something, you know.
Okay.
He's not looking for anything specific.
Okay. So one you see is it's actually, a lot of the books in here are kind of like worn. They're not like destroyed, but they're like well used.
How high up is the ceiling?
It goes up for quite a ways.
That's the direction I'm going.
Okay. Yeah, you scamper easily up enough. What's a monkey's speed? I'll say it's like 30 or 40.
The climb speed's like 20 or something, but I also have a fly speed, so I would say the fly speed's probably 30.
So I'll say you get about 90 feet up or so and find a book that actually looks much cleaner and crisper. It's got a like navy blue binding, and on the side of it, the title of the book is written to look sort of like a constellation. And the name of it is called Maps to the Stars.
Okay, I take that and I fly back down to the nearest table, and staying in my monkey form, I open the book and I start reading.
Okay. Anybody else grabbing any books?
I was just.
I'm going to read that Underdark Herbs book. See if there's anything about that corruption plant or anything like that.
If nothing grabs my eyes, then probably wouldn't worry about it.
Okay. So first off, let's do the star one.
Gruk's mind explodes as he stares into infinity and beyond.
No, different one.
Still not my fault.
Didn't you go weird? Didn't you have like a brain thing on a different book you read?
Brain blast.
Yes.
Isn't that how Gruk learned to read?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, like
You took,
jammed
like-
information in
You
his
took like a
brain.
good amount of psychic damage, and
Yes.
it gave you a headache so bad you learned how to read.
Yeah, and it gave me a nosebleed and stuff. So he's actually pretty disappointed when he goes to read this one. Maybe. Who knows?
Not enough spice.
So you open it up, and it looks to be a collection of different travelers and how they use the stars to navigate at night. And it seemed really big to you just because you're a monkey and your hands are this big, but it actually is like, I was gonna say pocket sized, but like dude pocket size, not fucking pocket sized.
I wonder if it's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
It
being
is not, but you
proficient-
think it could help.
Being proficient in
Perhaps so.
survival, would I recognize quite a few of these constellations?
Yeah, you recognize quite a few of them, actually.
I have a +9, so I don't know if you want me to roll anything. Probably not, but
Because my husband is the biggest nerd on God's Green Earth. They have names.
okay, cool.
So you two are tied for that title then?
Yeah, basically. There's a reason we're together. Okay. Oh god, I forgot these things. So the most prominent constellations that you guys would know of is Stormbringer the Axe, Harpo the Harp, Kryn the Lance, Starjammer the Ship, Morty the Mouse,
Nice.
Ayla the Cow,
Oh.
Hunter the Falcon, Jamie the Jackal, Nigel the Cat, Link the Baboon. I forgot he put these in here.
It just made us written in
Kronos
stone.
the Hourglass,
Uh,
Oculus the Eye, and Mothra the Moth. But effectively, given enough time to read this thoroughly, Gruk, you could use this to gain advantage to navigate by the stars at night.
okay. I leave the book there open, and I go to fly off and look at other ones.
Okay.
And go to other
for
people.
the Herb. So for this one, this book is actually mostly handwritten, Cyberus. It's like leather bound, but it looks like there were lots of pages that were glued in as this person went. And it looks like handwritten recipes and how to cook various different herbs and flowers found in the Underdark. It's maybe not the most in-depth, but it's definitely pretty good for if you are somebody from the surface that has no idea what you can eat in the Underdark. So, effectively, given enough time to finish reading it, you could use it to gain advantage to identify and cook and recognize various different plants found in the Underdark.
Great. I might have to come back for that.
As you're sort of, Krishna is sort of looking, she says, you know that you can take them. They're, by nature of the way the library works, there are no true owners of the library other than the library itself. So when the library thinks that you've had your book too long, it will sometimes recall it back, or sometimes it just stays gone for centuries.
That's great news. I'll take this with me then. And then we'll have to go to the Underdark.
Demona, go ahead and roll a investigation check for me if you're looking around starting to find anything interesting.
Investigation. Oof, I'm proficient with that one. And that's a 27.
Okay. So let's see. The one that you find that sort of catches your eye is titled "The Magic of the Flames," and that instinctively piques your interest, and you pull it out and start flipping through, expecting to find like different things about unique fire magic spells, and it actually seems like it's more of a fictional book. It seems to be a romance between a famous industrialist and a powerful Afridi.
Immediately shove that crap back on the shelf.
I say Passion's gonna look around for books too. She's bored. She's gonna look at a book. Pick up just the first book she finds.
Let's see.
Do you want me to roll a die or something?
Yeah, go ahead.
What kind of die do you want me to roll, Kat?
Just do a investigation check.
Are you just gonna pull up that table that you have from our Jolt game? That's just all those romance novel titles. You're
21.
welcome.
I rolled a nat 20.
Forgot about that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Scott.
21. I rolled a nat 20.
So you find one that is titled "A History of Humanoid Fashion." Sort of flipping through it, you can see it is very much a like thorough historical lens of looking at all of the different kinds of fashion all over the world between different races and mega cities and things like that.
That's cool.
Let's see.
Onyx plays Rock Crush on her phone.
Demona, you have been searching for probably about like 20 minutes and are starting to give up hope because all of the ones that you keep seeing that are like, ah, yes, this is the one. There are like several different fiction novels.
The
There
Forbidden
are
Flame. It's a raunchy romance novel.
yeah, or like very very basic introductions to magic that are well below the stuff that you're dealing with. And so finally, when you're like, all right, after this shelf, I'm done. I'm bored of this. You find one that is titled "A Guide to Demons."
Somebody roll 4d12s.
Yep, that's definitely of interest to me.
This is the weirdest table, by the way, using 4d12s.
It super is. 26.
Gruk finds a book and he starts reading it. Why not? Finding Love in a Den of Thieves. On the front cover is a sexy tiefling rogue. I'm not going to say what else because no one else is reading it.
Okay. The reason it has such a weird one is because I think it was me and Jen that made like all of these. We just kept going, and I'm like, okay, if we don't stop, we're gonna go to 100. So we just have to stop at some
I
point.
feel
Oh,
like
you
that
should've made
doesn't sound like
100.
that doesn't sound like a problem. That sounds like a good thing to do.
Yeah. So Pixelated Quota has given Luke a D10.
Hey!
Hey! Thanks, Alex.
Thanks.
It's in our Baltimore by night game.
Vampire by the Masquerade.
Vampire by
Baltimore.
night. Yeah, of course. That makes sense.
Yeah, and then by day we're just asleep.
I mean, Vampire
Yeah.
by Day would be not a very interesting game, right? Because either you all burn up instantly, or
No, you just
Depends
don't
on
go
the
out in the
kind of
sun.
vampire you are.
Wouldn't
Or
that
you
be-
just don't go out in the sun. I mean, I do that as much as possible. So
Well,
Wouldn't Vampire by Day be something like a book that Blade tried to write at some point?
Vampire by day, slay by night. A Blade story.
Getting confused as one of those raunchy rom-coms.
yeah, my nerd ass is like, there are technically thin blood vampires in 5. You can go out in the sunlight. But anyway, yeah. So, Demona, flipping through this book, it looks to be written by a famous gnome paladin named Brennan Escapesmith. And one of the key themes that keeps coming up is for every step you take in learning how demons operate and how they're in learning more about them, you have to be careful studying demons so that you do not become one yourself.
The irony hurts.
So effectively, once you read it, you would, it is quite thick. It's probably like George R.R. Martin style book, thick. And, but once you read it,
damn.
you can gain.
You don't want to try to sneak with that, it'll clap.
Once you read it, once per short or long rest, you can re-roll a single history check on lore involving demons or the abyss.
Nice.
And let's see, what else is there?
Are there any other people in the library?
In this area, you do not see any. I'll actually say, Gruk, as you're sort of climbing around in the upper areas of the library, you sort of get startled and you see what you at first think is like a dove just swoop past you, and you're like, because you don't see a ceiling, so you don't see the open sky. It just sort of blends together in a pile of books at the top of this room. So you're not sure how a bird would have gotten in, but as you're sort of like leaning back to look at it, you realize that it is a sort of spectral bird-like figure.
I fly up towards it. I keep a distance though. I'm not like at it.
Don't go towards the light.
And
as it swoops past you, it lands on another book, and the book vanishes. And so does the sort of spectral bird. And then a moment later, you see another one that comes out and lands on an empty space in a shelf, and a book appears there.
Interesting. I'm gonna try to follow these things around to see where they originally come from. Something to pass the time.
Make a survival check. Or actually, yeah, no, it shouldn't be too hard to find where they're going. This would probably be acrobatics or athletics.
Oh, I actually do have to
Because
look
you
up
can
monkey.
see them clearly.
And now I have to look up monkey stats.
Sorry.
I just assumed he had them already prepped.
No, I was just like, what form can I take that will allow me to easily get up there, but also be able to read books? Flying monkey.
Yeah.
You said acrobatics?
Mm-hmm.
Not proficient. Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
I would say, isn't there like a...
Baboon. Here we go. I'll just use baboon.
Yeah.
Okay, same dex mod as me, so 15.
Okay. So you do manage to track them up to the very top of the ceiling, and you're sort of having fun swinging around, leaning into that monkey form. And you get to what you can only assume to be the top, and these two walls, as you're climbing up, get closer and closer together until they actually meet at the very top, and there is an arch of books that look like they haven't been moved in ages.
My Abu monkey eyes widen, and I go over to him.
And you see as you're sort of peering at it, appearing out of nowhere at the very crest of the top of the ceiling is another bird, and then another one that takes off, zooming further into this, further down into the valley.
I'm going to check out this area of dusty books that have definitely not been touched in a long time.
Okay. Let's see. It would be great if Adobe would stop fucking closing my PDF.
No.
Oh, the best. So one of them actually doesn't have a title on it, but it does have a very elaborate sort of design on the spine that it looks to be painted on, and like the paint is chipping, and it looks old.
So this area up here, is there like a platform up here? Or would I have to take this book all the way back down to the bottom to...
Not every now and then, because the shelves are different sizes, there are ledges where the bookshelf on bottom is like wider than the one above it. So I'll say there's one maybe about 10-15 feet down or so that you could rest this book on.
Okay, I do that. And I open it to see what will fry my monkey brain.
All right.
Gruk, opening book. This can't hurt me because I can't read. Oh God, the pain! And I can read!
At some point, it's going to have a shortcut. As soon as he opens the book, everything explodes.
I just hear a bite old dusto. I just die.
Manual of Explosions. Didn't realize that it just exploded the moment you opened it.
Hey, Kat.
Fun fact, they have that in
for
Tasha's.
something new that I want to create.
Do they?
It's not
they have-
called that, but it's like a wizard spellbook that's specifically for
Oh,
evocation,
boy.
and it's like kind of on fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was the classic the wizard putting just all those marks of like that. Just when someone else opens the book, it just explodes.
Yeah, classic Wizard of Thay technique.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad that
It's
doesn't
the
work
nuke
anymore.
book.
What are these stupid things?
Mm-hmm. The nuke book no longer can work.
I wish it could. I miss explosive runes abilities.
Looking through this one, it actually looks like it's more art than words. You
Ooh,
do
my
find written on the inside the works of Johann Burgos. And it looks like it is a collection of photos and like hand-drawn renditions of various other art objects. And looking at them, they are from relatively modern period to like that is incredibly ancient art. And there is actually an interesting piece in here of Trog imagery that looks to be a sort of, it's a sketch of a statue that has 4 sort of spectral ghost-like creatures surrounding a castle.
That in the statue's like a trog.
And it's like very clear. No, it's Trog made. But it's just ghosts and a castle.
It's a painting.
And it is old.
Or a sketch.
It's a sketch of a statue that exists. And the notes underneath it says that Johann found it deep in a jungle near what would currently be Giant's Peak. And
Trogs with
as your
culture.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. You've never heard of a Trog that made art, let alone
And all my-
elaborate statues.
In all my 3 years.
It also mentions in this book, it mentions let's see if I can find it.
Yog-Sothoth, the Great Old One.
Not quite.
Yog Shara.
I'll have to turn into a warlock. Just turn into a Great Old Little Warlock reading one of these books.
Sorry, I'm struggling to find a name.
You're fine.
Oh, okay. It also mentions in actually like a handwritten note at the bottom. This piece was shown to me by the explorer Dane.
D-I-N-G?
D-A-I-N.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And sort of flipping through, you do find another couple like pieces of things that look like Trog art. Some that are a lot more familiar to you. One is like a photograph of a more modern headpiece.
But this is a
And-
really old book, though, right?
It is. It is very old. That more modern headpiece is probably like 200 years old. And another one that you see is a photograph of this crumbling ancient tapestry that depicts what looks to be 2 tribes of Trog. Ones that are holding like bows and spears and covered in animal hides, and another that are holding scrolls and books.
Oh, that's what happens. They bully the nerds.
Gruk finds that very curious, and he's gonna like continue looking through that book, trying to find more stuff about them. I know it's mostly pictures, but they probably don't have much on that. Is there? But probably the only information that he would want to get, if they have any, is like, is it like a tribe name or something that he can look up later? Just more specifically.
The notes mention that the two tribes were this particular. So this book refers to them as the Proto-Trog races. There was the Philosopher Trogs and the Hunter Trogs, and it's pretty easy to see which is which in this tapestry.
Yeah, philosophers and wides, yeah.
And also there is a note to see the Journals of Dane 752 for further information regarding Philosopher Trogs.
I'm never going to be able to find that in here, if it's in here.
Meanwhile, down on the floor, your guide is sort of wandering around, and pulling down actually like stacks of books. And Cyberus, you can easily tell she's using her locate object spell to find various ones that she's looking for.
I'll have to bring that next time we come in here.
She sort of looks up. Is he gonna come back, or?
Ashid just kind of shrugs. He might not, who knows? He'll show up eventually when he's bored.
It's understandable.
If you have a big enough
Anything
mirror,
I can help you guys
faster.
find? I know you don't have the spell prepared, but I do.
Do you know? Yeah, I would like to look for. There's a specific organization that I've heard a little bit about called the Brotherhood of the Eternal Blood. Have you heard of that?
I have not, but
They're somewhat obscure. I heard they might be within a region nearby of this at some point in the past. I don't know how recent that was. If there's some sort of book about different De-Fragger orders or anything related to De-Fragger history.
okay. You can definitely look for that.
If we're going to be in
wait,
town for
while-
a while doing diplomacy,
Yeah, probably.
yeah, that's what you call it. Then we could probably come back here other times too. I feel like I could look for a lot of things in this place.
So she casts her spell and sort of spaces out for a few, and you remember that it sort of gives you like a ping in a direction. And she actually starts climbing up these ladders, looking around. And after about 5 minutes or so, and she makes her way probably like 60 feet up and around all of these shelves and everything, before she puts out her arms and just jumps down, casting Featherfall, and hands you a book. And it is called the Orders of Blood. And it seems to be not so much on the various different De-Fragger orders, but rather orders that have to do with blood and the power held within the actual physical thing that keeps people moving. Reading through it, you do manage to skip ahead to find the area that talks about the Brotherhood of Blood. And you already knew that they were mostly Gaia Wunari, but it actually mentions that it's believed, there's no obvious proof, but it's believed that it was founded by some of the first Gaia Wunari to exist.
Oh.
And that they're able to, when they consume the flesh of something that is corrupted, they can gain some small semblance of insight into the things that that creature has experienced.
It's very interesting. Is there anything that would tell me how that works or where I can find them or how to contact them? I
It
don't
talks
imagine
about
to be recent.
yeah, it talks about the. It's actually weird. So there's very, very ancient, which is like when the order was first founded and everything, and then there's a large gap. And the most recent time that they were seen was about 60 years ago, which is probably like at least 3-4 generations of Unari. Yeah. And it talks about that they had a stronghold in the forested areas near Giant's Peak. And it gives like a rough estimate of where it was. Yeah, it's not the most detailed map, but it gives a better idea other than just forest near Giant's Peak, which is what you had before.
That's great. I'll take that if I can. And then later I can use the Moogle Maps. Is that an app that exists?
It does now.
Okay. Maybe there's some satellite images of that area I could zoom in and see if there's a...
Moogle also, I think, is copyrighted somewhere.
Google is Final Fantasy.
We spell it with a U with umlauts.
Okay, that works. That works.
Legally
I don't know how to use
distinct.
on my keyboard.
That's
Yeah,
called
it's
an
completely
U,
different.
by the
I would
way,
say
as
that's
German. An
I was
U.
sitting here like, I know that's wrong. I can see Hera cringing.
It's not an U with umlaut, it's an U.
Well, I'm sorry if the Nebraska education system doesn't tell you much about it.
I'm disappointed.
What's new?
Well, I'm going to use this information later.
About
once we
Hera being
finish our mission.
disappointed in you, or that information?
No, I knew that already.
She's German. She's disappointed in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like non-German bread.
Passion.
Yes, that's my name. I am Passion.
Let's see, some of the other books that you might encounter that could be interesting. As you're looking, so you find all kinds of different. The books in here are all kinds. There are fiction. There's like textbooks, proper textbooks. There are others that are like really in depth, like medical guides. Let's see. There's one that goes over a like guide to Fae and natural spirits of the world, and talks about the places that they tend to migrate to and some of their abilities. Let's see. Another one that talks about some of the more interesting and diverse uses of wizard rituals and how they can be slightly tweaked and modified to be more useful.
Ooh. She'll pocket that one. Like, I might not be a wizard, but I can learn rituals.
Another one that at first, as you're sort of looking over it, you sort of pass it by because it looks like a holy book, and Passion's never been exceptionally religious. But as you sort of pan over it, you realize that the title on it is not. It has the symbols of several different gods, but the title actually just reads Manual to the Inner Grid. And you realize that it seems like it's a overview of the the homes of the majority of many of the more powerful gods in the plains, and some of the realms nearby to them as well.
She'll pocket that one too. You know, she never knows if she's gonna get bored here.
And I'll say at this point, Onyx, you are probably bored out of your fucking mind. And are...
Oh, it's new.
Yes.
Just kind of wandering around and pulling things out. And you come to one that actually looks to be... it catches your eye because it looks very different than anything else here. It's actually like spiral bound. It's not like a proper bound book. And when you pull it out, it looks to be like a sketchbook that has all different kinds of
thick sketchbook there
of drawings and like tagging art and signatures of different things.
Yeah, I mean,
and-
Onyx like that's neat, and just like takes that and sits down somewhere and just like goes through it. Tries to see if she can find a free page.
Yeah, I'll say that there are probably like maybe 10 or 12 pages at the back of the book that haven't been touched yet.
Yeah, she leaves a tag of her own and like a little character to her besides. She has a feeling that this is actually the purpose of this book. Like someone left it here, and ever since
It does look like a lot of the art styles are rather different, and a lot of the signatures are not the same person.
How many dicks?
So many dicks. So many.
I imagine. Okay, so there's probably like each page probably has like a different tag name on it and everything.
It looks like it's probably like some people do 3 or 4 pages, some only do 1, some do like half a page.
Okay. But a couple of different people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she leaves a little thing there, and then like leaves her Onyx tag.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what she does.
Let's see. Some other things that you find is one called Garwina's Guide to Brew Making. Another one that looks like an overview of various different magical tattoos, and particularly how to tattoo mystic tattoos onto people that don't have traditional skin. Like
She's taking that.
individuals with fur, like Lunari, or scales, or incredibly hard stone-like skin.
Wink.
Wink, wink.
Wonk wonk.
Wonk, wonk.
Like that.
And I'll say at that point, you guys have probably been in here for like 2-3 hours or so.
We should probably get going to our appointment.
Sorry, we got lost in the library real late.
To be fair, it does happen. When you're finally done, actually, does Gruk come down from the ceiling by that point? Or are you going to continue to look?
Yeah, because he knows that we need to be elsewhere.
Mhm.
And that one specific book, he's like, I probably won't even find it today, let alone
Yeah.
soon. So he flies down, flying monkey form still.
For those who are wondering, a lot of these, some of them I just made up, and but a lot of these are called from the DM's Guild supplement, Books of Knowledge by Benjin Games.
Oh, cool.
Go check them out. It's cool as shit. So as you guys are heading out, you see that Krishna actually casts that spell again, or Krishna casts the spell again, because as you head to that door, it is now just a brick wall. And she says, so... hopefully, my casting the spell will make the door appear, but sometimes you kind of have to find another way out. I think I have my timing right, that it should be coming back soon, though.
Do people ever smash their way out?
She's
Let's
like, I'll be
not
honest,
do that.
I'm going to assume that it probably has happened at some point, but
Let's not
not
find
that I
out.
recall.
I'm not gonna
You know,
smash
just because I ask
anything.
if something, just because I ask if something happens doesn't mean I'm suggesting we do it.
I mean, just his usage. Once you put that idea in Onyx's head, we never know.
Gruk
I
flies
do
down.
want to note that it wasn't me that came up with that idea, okay?
And as he's going to land, he reverts back to normal. And he puts his hand on the stone wall.
Mhm.
And I'll cast Meld with Stone and go through the other side. Do I go through the other side?
I'm trying to
If
remember.
it's not,
Is it...
if it's not immediately through the other side, I can't. That's pass through stone. Is the one where I can like walk through it. This one is more of like I merge with it.
Oh, okay, yeah. You can go into the stone. It does seem deep enough.
Does it seem deep enough I can't pop through the other side?
Oh, okay. I was confused on the
Pretty much more than
context as well.
arm's
Yes,
length, I guess.
Yeah, you can go through it. And you find yourself on the other side in that long hallway, except now you actually see, for a brief half a second, you see that sort of dim white glow of those spectral birds, and there is a stack of books right next to the wall you just stepped out of.
And then Gruk gets mugged.
At the
Spectral
library.
birds mugged.
I mean, let's be honest. Pigeons would 100% mug someone. If they
100%. If you gave a pigeon a shiv, it would kill a
Mhm.
bunch of people.
Same with crabs. I've seen enough videos of this. I know.
And I'll say, Gruk, as you're sort of watching, you see again those the dull lights of those birds appearing and sort of making an outline of the shape of the door. And after about a minute or so, they that glow fades, and there is a brief flash of like smoke, and there is a door there again.
I wait for the birds to go through it with their books or whatnot. I don't want to disturb what they're doing. And then I walk through it. Am I backed with everybody else?
Yeah, I'll say that you see one by one each of these birds sort of lands on the top book, and it vanishes, and then another one lands on the one below it, and it vanishes, and so on. And when you open the door, you guys on the other side, you saw Krishna casting a spell and waiting for a few and waiting. And then a door appears and it is opened, and you see Gruk on the other side.
Thank you, Gruk.
That wasn't me. You can thank the library.
Oh, thank God I timed it right. It sometimes changes on me, and it's not an exact science. We get close enough.
Any
Anyway.
idea where these spirits are from? The former...
Sorry, the what?
These spirits. The birds.
Oh, I've only seen them a couple of times. I'm not sure. They typically hang out in just this wing. Though I actually have seen that there are rumors that one of the other wings, it has a sort of similar enchantment, the Phantom Wing. That one is...
Oh, that's such a good mercenary name. Sorry, continue.
That is a good mercenary name. It's a good name for a ship, for like an X-Wing.
Mm-hmm.
She says that they don't look like birds there. They look much more like actual spirits of humanoids. It's a little disconcerting. But anyway, to meet the acting president, she leads you guys back out of this sort of rougher end of town, back into the glitzy area that has casinos on every corner, and stadiums and bars all over the place, and elaborate, fancy, unique-looking restaurants.
Gruk's interest in the surroundings slowly fades off the more we get into this area.
Makes sense, yeah. Let's see. And as you guys get towards like the center area of the it's pretty clearly like a town square sort of thing, or at least it would have been years ago. It's one of the only areas in here that isn't just plain pavement. It's actually like old cobblestone. And in the very center is a tall tower that actually looks something like a lighthouse, even though you are nowhere near a body of water as far as you can tell.
It's one of those restaurants. Got it.
She says it's not actually a restaurant. It's where the president's office is.
It's one of those guys. Okay. Reminds me of this guy, this gnome I'd heard of called Crowley Spark. He had a giant tower with his name on the top. What egotistical bastard. Anyway.
But the technology, though.
But the technology. Anyway.
She goes to the front door and opens it, and it opens into like a receptionist area. And there is a half-orc woman sitting at a desk, sort of just dozing off and typing at a computer, and she sort of looks up. Can I help you, folk?
We have an appointment.
Yes, looks at name tag. Cat, we have an appointment.
I would say actually her name is Kate.
Okay. Sorry.
I could 100% see Gruk reading Kate and just saying.
I mean, he did learn to read like 2 months ago.
Yeah, but on the name tag, the E is like faded out and scratched.
Yeah. It actually like. You've only ever been in one political office before, and this looks very much more down to earth than that one.
I'm still underdressed.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. She says, okay, yeah, so you're the envoy from Del Diablo, right?
No,
Yes.
she is.
We are.
We are?
Okay. Just that sigh. She's like, very well. The president should have time for you in just a moment. If you would come with me. And she actually leads you up through this tower. And even though it was like a tower that didn't have any adjacent buildings or anything, you're seeing doors all along the spiral staircase as you're going up.
No elevator? Interesting.
And at the very top, the stairs are kind of like haphazard. It's very old construction. It's not the most like easy to traverse sort of thing. And when you get up near the top, she opens a door that opens out onto a conference room that
Are we
could
talking
not
like
be there.
40s, 50s Europe where everything's cement?
The tower itself is mostly stone. The stairs are wooden. But when it opens up onto this conference room, it is like partially wood paneling, beautiful carpet, and glass windows that look out onto the city. But there didn't seem to be an extra building on the side of... It doesn't look like this should fit here. Either the external buildings on the external rooms are invisible, or perhaps somehow created and held there by magic or something like that.
This whole place
Yeah,
is a
shadow
TARDIS.
situation.
Yeah.
Or like the shadow.
She points you in to the conference room table. Is there anything I can get you guys? Tea, soda?
Tea would be nice.
What's your
Lovely.
most
Okay.
famous food for the city? Do you have any of that?
Egg tea.
You
Just give me a
probably
soda.
Okay. I was gonna say you had to be a little more specific. We have probably about 20 restaurants in like a 3-block radius.
I hear their tacos are really good.
That is a favorite of mine, yeah. I'll say that Krishnar is Yeah, Krishnar says that she will actually wait outside. She's like, the meeting isn't actually with me, so I'll leave that to you guys.
Demona would pull out a cigar and just gesture as if it would be okay to smoke.
The woman just sort of shrugs. You're fine. Go for it. And as you guys are left alone in this room to wait for a few. If there's anything that you would like to do or talk about while you wait.
Ashton's gonna look at everyone and say, just don't say anything dumb, please.
Gruk just lays
Don't say anything dumb.
Gruk just lays in the ground on his back, crosses his legs, hands behind his head. And his foot's just going like this in the air when it's crossed.
Onyx just holds up the book about tattoos that she has with her. It's like I brought some reading material.
Perfect.
Should
Yeah.
we discuss what our expectations and plans are for this meeting?
Trouble's the last thing I want to cause.
Demona would actually be standing away from everybody just so they're not having to deal with the smoke. Standing at ease, close to one of the walls, probably near one of the windows.
All of a sudden there's beeping, and Demona looks up, and the camera pans up, and there's the smoke alarm.
Just my luck, yeah.
So what are we expecting to get out of this meeting?
Well, hopefully not a war.
Peace?
Probably. Honestly, I don't have many expectations for this. It sounds like the government, like he said, the government is pretty receptive. It's the people we have to convince. So
Do you think we'll be trying to get the president to agree with terms? Do we have terms to offer or accept?
I don't think we need to really offer terms. I
As
think
soon
it's
as-
us. And I think more this is going to be us talking with the president to see what we need to do to convince everybody else. Because, as I said,
From the floor, you hear Gruk say, "So we're pretty much messengers."
yes, that's what envoys are, just fancy messengers.
assuage their fear. If there's something we can do, most likely Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
Mhm.
try not to detonate anything.
Exactly.
That'll be your responsibility, Demona.
I will try my best.
So, as you guys are waiting, the door does open a few moments later, and the woman comes back with your, the receptionist comes back with your tea, and a second later, another individual walks in the room. They are very shorter than you imagined. A kobold in like a nice black suit, and you can see down the one cheek and down to the neck are several different designs of tattoos, and they just sort of walk in, look at all of the rest of you kind of blankly, gives a nod.
Passion will give a polite nod back.
I am acting President Benziva, and you are the envoy from the City of Corruption, yes?
Yes, I am
Yes.
Passion.
Lovely. So, they sort of pull out a chair and sit down. The neighboring cities are clamoring for war heavily.
I can understand that.
What reason do I have to argue against them?
Well, One, I'm
Excuse
sure-
me, that's my cat.
oh, okay. I'm like, what is...
I literally didn't hear anything.
I can just look. Well, aside from we've already spoken of how we were not involved in the detonation at all, and I assume you do not want to go to war with an innocent country. Many more will die in a conflict that has already claimed too many.
I'm not particularly interested in going to war at all. However, my predecessor was overly eager in moving quickly to gather troops, and the people didn't take too lightly to it. Our regulations are much lesser than they would be in most other cities, but we have a very strict system that we hold our governments to, and when they don't provide the service that we think, then they are not around any longer. So I am interested in doing what is best for the people of Los Angeles.
But you also want to stay in power.
I want to stay alive.
Wait.
Demona, you would know when a president of Los Angeles is deposed, they are decapitated.
Fun.
I mean, that sounds like a good way to get rid of politicians.
Are those heads then placed publicly or just the execution?
It depends on how much the people hated him.
Okay.
Well, them.
What
They're
if
like-
they were a Hydra?
It's never happened before that they had a Hydra president. I don't think Hydra's
I feel-
smart enough to run for
I-
office.
I feel
gonna
like this
say,
is one of those. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
I was gonna say I don't think that a Hydra
Gruk goes
would be smart
over and
enough,
casts Awake into a Hydra.
smart
Alright,
enough
now
to
we're
run
gonna
for
teach you.
office.
Now we're gonna teach you politics.
And then I remember
Could be
some
a
of the
troll.
dumb shit our politicians have done recently. It's like, yeah, there's no intelligence limit to getting.
There's no
Politics.
intelligence floor.
Yeah.
That's weird. I cast
Uh,
Awaken, and all of a sudden it has like 8 different blonde wigs on its head. Weird.
Onyx just
Um,
shrugs and says, "Do you people know that what going to war with Del Diablo means? I mean, unless obviously you just chuck a bunch of nukes at us from the distance. Do you
Well,
have nukes?
I cannot say what our arsenal currently has, obviously, for security reasons. There is talk, however, of
Wait, since nuclear weapons are usually also like used as a deterrent, wouldn't we know that if a city has access to nuclear arsenal or not?
so there are some that it depends. Like,
I mean, for MAD to work, there needs to be the M in MAD.
but also just like some may have them and like claim that they were destroyed years ago, or say no, we don't have those things, and they just haven't used them in forever, especially because this world is incredibly old, and especially after the machine war, there are lots of things that are still being found.
So you're saying some cities might not even know that they have nukes somewhere?
They might not, yeah. And some
They might
cities
just-
do know, but the neighboring ones don't.
Some
Um,
cities might worship it as a gift from Adam. It's a Fallout joke, Cat. By
okay.
the way.
They say so. I am not interested in going to war.
Mhm.
That would be incredibly expensive for me and for the city, and I do not want that. Also, it would end up with a lot more people dead, and I'm not interested.
Also, I'm curious, Kat. In terms of like, out of character wise,
Mhm.
what is the size comparison of Los Angeles to Del Diablo?
So as the each face of the dodecahedron
Yep.
that makes up the face of Radix, the centermost area tends to have a gigacity, which has a lot of people, millions of people. Los
Yeah,
Angeles,
Think the continent of Australia. That's the amount of space that takes up.
yeah, it is incredibly large. However, they do tend to be spread out a bit more here in Los Angeles. There aren't as many skyscrapers as there are in Del Diablo.
Mhm.
And you're guessing it probably has a lower population, but it's still quite a lot of people.
Yeah.
And
So kind of like
you also
America
know-
versus Russia.
Yeah, you do also know that there are 2 mega cities also that border Los Angeles. One being Neo Tokyo, which Passion would know was one of the hardest places hit by the burner event,
Mhm.
and Gothopolis, which they share a border. And they're very much like partners in every action that they do. When one goes to war, the other goes with, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Onyx? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. Onyx also like, okay, so assuming we're not just like Del Diablo and Los Angeles are not just nuking it out and actually marching and everything, do you people realize that there are no wounded coming back? Every person wounded and surviving.
Passion immediately just goes, Onyx. We don't need to talk about
I'm just saying.
Onyx.
I'm just
Talk of war is a bad idea.
I just want to know if those people are aware that if they go to war, those that won't come, like, there will be those that die, and then there will be those that will be wounded. And those that will be wounded will probably be corrupted. Every person that survives in a battle that doesn't die will eventually fill up the ranks of Del Diablo.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know how familiar you are.
I'm
with
like 99%
of...
sure that's why nobody went to war with Del Diablo since, all the way back then.
Not all corrupted ones go to Del Diablo.
Yeah, that's true. They just get hunted down by some.
There's also that
assholes and get
document
purged.
There's also the treaty that has also kept everything in balance.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yes. The treaty that you're speaking of has been proving vanishingly hard to find evidence of.
Passion actually would have a copy of it. Because
so you would actually, Passion would remember that way back in the day, you guys were told that there were 12 original copies, one for each faith of Radix. Of those 12, you know of one that you know survived, and of that one, maybe 2 others. Yeah. That was all the Horomancer could find. 3 of 12. And the Benziva, the president, says, so, regarding your take, Onyx, I believe your name was?
Yes.
Yeah, so the people of my council that are arguing for war obviously suggest that we do not send our own people in, which honestly we don't really have much of a standing army anyway. We would hire mercenaries. I have explained some of the flaws with this, and there's talk of trying to come up with solutions. I can warn you, Neo Tokyo is much closer to a solution than we are. I've heard rumors of talk of antibiotics that can stop the passage of corruption entirely, that can prevent one from being infected. Of obviously missiles to do everything remotely. I've tried to explain this sort of mystical ward around the city that you talked about on your Henshin Day announcement, but the Council of Neo Tokyo just are not exactly receptive to it at the moment.
It sounds like it's not you we need to convince, obviously.
Yes, I am.
We're
here as a
informed.
perfunctory sort of thing. Los Angeles is often the face of things on this corner of the world, as we have the largest population. But it was definitely Neo Tokyo that was hit the worst by the burner event, and they're the ones that are the most volatile. They've always been that way, and typically the other two nations don't have any issues, just because here in Los Angeles we're a very tolerant place. As long as you don't come in harming others for no obvious reasons, we're much more lax with our laws than many other nations.
So, not to sound rude here, but it sounds like I said we should be talking with people from Neo Tokyo rather than you.
That's the other reason that I wanted to talk to you first, though.
Okay.
I wasn't always acting president. For a good amount of time, I was a diplomatic liaison between here and Neo Tokyo.
Yes.
And the head of the council is a very wise elf that I've known for many years. It's unlike him to be chomping at the bit for this war. I understand that he did lose members of his personal guard in the attack, which would be a reason for it, but it seems rash for him.
So you're thinking there might be something up?
Anger blinds people.
It could be being influenced by a third party.
Yes.
That's what I was worried of.
That's my thought too, from the sound of it.
I've heard reports of intellect devourers.
Passion immediately Passion just, you can see, probably he could even see, like, she just kind of tenses him, like, yes, there's been reports of that I've gotten from friends who have been working there.
Aren't there, like, dragon people that take care of them or something? What were they called? Xenon. The Xenon Dragonborns, right?
Take care of what?
The octopus people, right? The mind flayers?
Well, intellect devourers and mind flayers are not quite the same, and at least from what I know of my reports, intellect illithids or mind flayers haven't been seen in. I think the last report in the city was probably about 50 years ago, perhaps.
Aren't they aliens? I saw a movie once.
Intellect devourers are made by mind flayers. They have to be coming from somewhere.
Probably, if it's...
They do not reproduce naturally. They are abominations. Even to those.
Is there a way to test for someone having a different brain?
Yes.
All right.
But by the time their brain has been switched, they're already dead.
Yeah.
Let's assume.
Well, no, but then we would know that they had been switched.
Onyx leans over to Passion and is like, hey, so how much bargaining power do we actually have? You know that?
We got a yacht. I'm kidding.
Well,
we got a Demona.
In terms of
bargaining power, have a yacht.
In terms of bargaining power,
You'd be surprised. I bet that stopped quite a few small-scale wars.
Oh, it absolutely has. It
I mean,
absolutely has.
Okay, so basically what I'm asking, which is also a question towards Kat, because I'm not quite sure, how much power has been invested in us to
make concessions?
To make concessions, basically, to prevent a war by the city of Del Diablo.
I will say that it depends on the concessions you're talking. Anything... Basically, you can offer something and then have it approved by the lords and ladies.
Mm-hmm.
You know that wealth-wise, just payment isn't going to mean shit, because Del Diablo money doesn't mean shit all to the rest of the world, because it's an entirely different commerce system.
I mean, I'm assuming they have more than just base. Yeah. They definitely have more than just that.
War is usually not.
Does that mean we're broke here?
I mean, reparations can be paid in something else than money.
What?
But
we don't need to repair anyone though, because Del Diablo didn't do anything.
War is only brought if there's something to gain. What does Neo Tokyo gain from this? What do they gain from endangering their people?
My guess is if what they're saying is true, they might not gain anything, and this just might be a ploy by... Let me check what their name is.
It just might not be a ploy. It just might be a bunch of people angry, needing someone to blame.
It
And
could be a
something
mix
to-
of that and the collector. If a
I would-
mind flayer is involved, if an intellect devourer is involved, it's likely going to be something to do with the collector.
Yeah, but we don't know that yet.
I would
And
say
I know
probably
of
a
someone who's
mixture
good
of
at
both.
reconnaissance and such things, looking at Demona.
I have 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
What do they have that what do they want that would assuage them of these fears? And do you have any leads that would get us the information on if the intellect devourers are involved?
Well, the thing that they want is revenge. That's what the majority of the populace wants. There have been the areas that were still burning for several weeks were surrounded by protests for days of people wanting to strike back at the perceived threat.
Actually, I have a question, Kat. I'm assuming that in Del Diablo, the burner event was, there is record of it. I'm assuming because Del Diablo seems like the place to have a shit ton of security cameras in.
Yeah. There's footage of it, yeah.
I
Passion
mean,
is
there's
going
also
to.
just a bunch of people. Like there's.
But no, hold on. It doesn't matter what the people say. That's
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
no.
say this.
I mean, like there's probably not just like security cam footage. There's probably
Yeah, personal footage. but-
thousands, millions of like video footage from like personal people that witnessed the event as well, right?
I have another question. I'm assuming one of the I'm assuming Susan or something we have a personal link to Susan, right? Or at least a way to get in contact with
Yeah,
her.
I'll say that you have, you would effectively have the number for her office,
Right.
and you would call her office, and they would transfer you in.
Passion is gonna just give me one moment. She'll say and pull up her phone and call Susan's office.
It only rings for a second before answering. Hello, office of Lady Susan. Can I help you?
Hi, this is Passion. I need to speak with Lady Susan.
Oh, certainly. Actually, she may make time for this. Can I ask what it's concerning?
It's concerning the diplomatic mission we're on.
She's
Lovely.
currently,
She would want to
she's
hear about
currently
that.
arm wrestling the Kraken.
She's currently
Hell no.
eating a kraken.
It's just her lunch.
Calamari.
She's
light
eating a
snack.
hydra.
Well, that might take a while.
But yes, it's very important.
Absolutely.
I apologize for out of nowhere, but
Just hold one moment.
absolutely.
And you're literally only on hold for like 20 seconds before the phone answers. Passion, how's the diplomatic mission going?
Different than I expected. I need something from you. Would you
That
be
would
able to?
be-
I need any footage of the burner event in Del Diablo. The message. She's like. I also would like the announcement from the anarchist, if possible, of him trying to frame Red Ant.
Yeah.
Yes. In terms of which ones, I'm trying to make. She kind of looks. I need
anarchist?
something that I need to show the destruction that happened in Del Diablo.
The anarchist was killed, right?
Yes.
Is there footage of the anarchist being murdered?
Probably not.
Like security cam footage or something like that?
No, I assume probably not, considering.
Wasn't he killed in prison?
Yes.
No. They executed him. This is they intentionally killed him. I know that because Kat mentioned it.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Because let's be honest
Well,
here.
they had to hold him somewhere before they did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but that's not what we need to really worry about right at the moment. It's just so I'll explain out of character. Passion is trying to compile some stuff to show that Del Diablo was also hit by this.
Yeah, but we'll need to do more.
Oh yeah, but it's a good way to start with it, right?
Mhm.
And then from there we can. And
Well,
I mean,
while Passion's on the phone, Brock will go up to the acting president and say, Well, we're not here for Neo Tokyo. We're here for Los Angeles. Is there anything that Del Diablo can do to, quell any boiling blood between the two?
As I said, Los Angeles is attempting to remain neutral in this. An assurance that there is not a war brewing from your end is, I think, enough that would quell my counsel.
What about
mostly
a treaty of peace that if war does break out, Los Angeles will not be part of the war zone?
Onyx was about to say, I mean, if Neo Tokyo mobilizes, we have to also like do a war effort to defend ourselves. We're not just gonna let them march in there or just bomb the city to shit with missiles.
That's the other main reason that I brought you here. Los Angeles is a city of individuals. We look out for ourselves usually and ourselves alone. But it's increasingly dangerous when our closest neighbors are bristling and fighting for war.
Mm-hmm.
I need individuals that have less strings attached to investigate and see if my suspicions are true, that there's more happening within the Council of Neo Tokyo than should be happening.
Would the Council of Neo Tokyo even like talk with us, or as soon as we arrive they would just throw us into prison and
What
as
about-
war criminals or something like that?
Passion just kind of.
What about
That's why
goes
you
like
came
this.
here first.
Yes.
What about a
Also-
freelancing guild of mercenaries going in to investigate?
Or us in disguise.
A freelancing
That one would probably be more likely. I was going to say
Yeah,
you guys
mercenary
were...
guild that rhymes with
Could you
Women Wogs.
You
Or-
were on national television killing the anarchists. They are going to recognize you.
And though that might also work in our advantage, Passion kind of says like thing on her because
Yeah, but I'd rather not still not fight an entire city. Couldn't you mediate? We meet on neutral ground.
That's the plan, yes.
Council comes here, and I believe we can probably. I guess what we could offer is, I fucking hate politics. Offering Del Diablo offers to help with relief efforts, and here, and in Neo Tokyo, since they have been hit so hard, which would allow both to Del Diablo to save face, and them to get help and get a win out of this because they they got something without having to do anything effectively for it.
That
and
would probably go a long ways toward helping. They're...
And Diablo doesn't have to say that, yeah, we bombed you, but like, hey, we're helping you.
Passion will kind of while on the phone does Susan, did you hear all that?
Of course I did. Yes, we can provide any of the evidence you think that would be helpful to show that Del Diablo suffered the same fate as the rest of the world in this.
I mean what Onyx was saying. Passion has her phone like up to here, kind of like holding
remind
it.
me what Onyx was saying?
You
Onyx
could have it
was
on
saying-
speaker mode.
No, Passion isn't like that. She's not a boomer.
Well,
No, I'm dead
if it's a meeting.
No.
Oh, in like a,
She is very clear with this. She does not. She is fine with Susan hearing what they're talking about. She does not want to hear what. She does not want them getting what Susan's talking about. Just because
Okay.
she's trying to keep some secrets in this.
Susan's like, yeah, I can get you. Wait, is Onyx in there?
Punch her. But yes,
She says,
Ghost dead.
the mutual aid kind of thing, like sending people to here to help out with
That's-
recovery.
yeah, that's absolutely something that we can help with. We've been doing the same thing here in Del Diablo quite a bit. And
Yes.
our fires have now burned out, and we can certainly help with any others.
Perfect. That'll at least probably go to bit, but she kind of looks to Onyx. If the problem won't be convincing. The problem will be, at least if the problem is that the leader has been taken over by an intellect devourer, the issue won't be convincing. It will be proving that he has been taken over by an intellect devourer.
Yeah, but we will still need to like make sure that the people it doesn't
Yes.
like the people want to go to war, intellect devourer or not.
Yes.
Yeah, Benziva, the acting president, says yes. That's. I do like the idea. I'd initially planned on having a sort of mediation here in one of the hotels here in Los Angeles. You would likely not be meeting with the head of their council just because they're very cautious not to have them in the same.
That sounds like it might be for the better, anyways.
Yeah.
Not meeting with the head.
Especially because the majority of their government offices were hit by the burner.
Mm-hmm.
So not only did they lose thousands upon thousands of innocents, they also lost a good portion of their leadership.
Passion just kind of nods. I can understand that. We were almost caught in the blast as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
so. Mm-hmm.
Message.
Okay. So Benziva says, okay, so I will reach out to the Council of Neo Tokyo and see if they can send over a representative for a meeting. They tend to take their sweet time, so it'd probably be like 3 days or so before we can get everything set up.
Well, that sounds good. That sounds like it'll allow us enough time to figure out a way to get set up to get a mind flayer test, because we don't know if how far if it is happening. We don't know how far it goes, right? So if there's more than just one person who's been infected by it,
and also to maybe come up with a way to try and.
That's what I'm doing right here.
Even revealing that there is an intellect devourer it's still very, very dangerous to just attack a head of state of Neo Tokyo.
Yes, we'll have to try and do it subtly.
Yeah. So,
good thing our
we have a
group is very
plan.
good at subtlety.
You said you're going to share some documents from your government with mine.
Yes, and she'll also they have also agreed to, when an agreement is made, to send aid to help out with recovery.
That is very much appreciated.
And I'm sure that with that agreement, we can assume that our side of the thing with you is in safety, because
I would not be opposed to a 3-way peace treaty, ensuring that Neo Tokyo, Los Angeles, and Del Diablo will not act against each other in this war.
Perfect. And that sounds like a good place for that. But, and she kind of pauses too. We can also, if possible, if need be too, we can always, if the others need more convincing, we can potentially involve Neo Red Ami as well. I know some people there, and we have already convinced, at least it seems like, the people there that we did not do what the anarchists said we did.
That would help, yeah. Having another power player in the form of Neo Red Ami would probably help things quite a bit. We don't have nearly the same kind of military presence as Neo Red Ami does.
Part of me is like, okay, these people are planning to go to war against Del Diablo. Jesus Christ, what the fuck are they thinking?
Question: there isn't just out of curiosity, there's like some like ancient law of like handling things like this, like in one-on-one combat or something like that?
That would probably make things easier, but at least between our two nations, there are not.
Also,
Oh,
well,
Gruk
that
just
would've been too
polymorphs
easy, I
Onyx
guess.
into a T-Rex.
Honestly, the only place I can imagine anything like that existing would be Giant's Peak or perhaps Neo Avalon.
Well, guess where I'm from.
what a surprise!
I wouldn't have pegged you for Neo Avalon.
No, Giant's Peak.
So it sounds
My
like we
tribe
have a
comes
plan.
from around Giant's
Yes.
Peak. Yeah.
Yes, it sounds like we have a plan and an
I
agreement.
have a lot of work to do, and to
As do we.
find a space to have this meeting that will be good enough for governors of Neo Tokyo.
And for at least this, we are pretty well flexible. As long as we're not in any danger, it doesn't matter where the meeting will take place.
I think
Very
no
well.
matter where the meeting will be at, there's a possibility of danger.
Well, I would like to not go to Neo Tokyo for the meeting.
Like I said, as long as we're not in danger.
It would
don't
probably
think they
be
would
on the
want us there.
border. It would probably be at one of our hotels near the border of both of our nations.
Mhm.
If we have the meeting in
but-
Tokyo, take me along and I'll be your escape car.
Mm-hmm. We're planning to bring you, obviously.
Onyx looks to Passion and also to the president. I assume he has some tailors here, right? Passion, I need your help. I want to look presentable.
We have many, many tailors. I can give you the name of mine. And their suit is really nice, actually. It's like, it's perfectly black, but it's like perfectly tailored. Normally kobolds in suit look goddamn ridiculous and kind of adorable and look like toddlers in suits. But this one's really nicely made.
They got Moochie.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like-
I imagine Onyx currently is like in a typical she has like a tank top on and like a pair of like torn jeans. She has no shoes.
I just remembered.
Comparatively, you don't stand out as much here. Like, they're
What?
still wearing a suit, but it's not like...
They're wearing a suit, but the sleeves have been ripped off.
I just realized.
His sleeves
To
are
show off
ripped
his
off.
tattoos.
They
Bart-
do have tattoos up from like the cheek down to the neck, but you're saying?
Barkley has Mikey's Air sneakers. You want to say like the headquarters for Mikey's is in Los Angeles?
Sure, that's hilarious.
But yes.
Los Angeles would be where I would
That would
expect
be-
like the headquarters for a lot of like big clothing
But yeah,
brands.
Onyx looks to Passion. I want to look presentable, but sort of like me. I think you're gonna help with that, right?
So, suit.
Something like that. Like
So.
a sleeveless suit.
I will see you in 3 days. I will
Yes.
have my receptionist get your contact information.
Yes, and feel free to contact us
Um,
if you need any help with anything.
Absolutely. Well, it was
Gruk will
lovely.
hand them a card for the demon dogs because I think that's the only real official form of contact we have besides our personal cell phone devices.
Well, Passion's gonna leave her personal phone number with them too, just because that's the easiest possible way to get in contact with us while we're here.
Demona's
Little
technically
shirt
the
from
highest
the restaurant.
ranking. Demona's technically the highest ranking of us for the city, which is why I was
Passion
thinking
doesn't
that.
give a shit.
I know she
No.
doesn't. I'm just saying.
You
We're
say
doing
that
all this
like
political
anyone in our
BS.
party, except anybody in our party has respect for authority.
But that's the thing. That's why Demona's been so quiet. You, as a Henshin, have a political figure that
Well,
you can present. I
it's
have
even-
effectively political power that I can bring to the setting.
Yeah, it's funny because you have the most political power. Passion's just like, fuck you, I'm famous.
Hey, it works out. It
Yeah,
definitely works out.
Onyx is just like, I don't want a war because I have a little kid in the city and I don't want her to grow up while there's a war going on.
All fails. We
Let's
just, we
not.
just move her to Radami. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
They take the card and see you guys to the door, and
I should leave her information with the receptionist too.
Retroverse Campaign 3 is then Chewie eats Neo Radami.
I'm gonna give the president a shirt from the restaurant. He still has some
my
left from
God.
the parade.
Gobbles up the entire city.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
So you're saying
Are
she
we-
turns into an avatar of Paku Paku?
Are we heading out as in back towards Del Diablo? Or
No, we're staying here.
At the
Oh.
moment, I think.
Yes.
But I'll say as you guys are leaving the offices of the president that we will end there for the night. And you
Perfect.
can pick up with you guys, unless there's something you want to squeeze in.
There was just a certain area Demona might want to make a quick trip over to. In the
I mean, we
meantime.
got 3 days.
True. That is very true. So I guess it's more, actually, it's a plan B on determining what type of housing that we would get here, if that could be described. Otherwise, then
I mean, I think we're staying at what's her name's
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, you can either stay with Krishnaria, or you can get a hotel. There are hundreds of hotels around here, from like seedy, ridiculously cheap motels to like the best hotel that you've ever seen, penthouse sort of stuff.
No. Gruk gets.
there's a particular
I'm
reason why
staying
I'm
with her
asking.
most definitely.
Gruk's gonna learn the city a bit, and since I looked it up, apparently you don't need to concentrate on wild shape. I'm just gonna, at nighttime, turn into a cat and just sleep in alleyways and stuff.
Okay.
You forgot that? That's what Blake did all the time in Trackless Sea.
I mean, I wild shape all the time, but I always just assumed because I couldn't use spells, it was because I was concentrating. But no, it's something completely
No,
different.
he would.
I mean, you can still cast other spells while you're concentrating on one spell.
Yeah, our
That's true. But
You
yeah,
should call
anyway.
lightning when you're transformed all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And we will pick up there next time with you guys deciding where you want to bed down for the evening and what you'd like to do next.
All right.
So, thank you everybody who joined us. I forgot to say it at the very beginning, but Sirenscape is incredible and awesome. And the sound set that we've been listening to tonight is Toxic Spirit. I have no idea what it's from, but I'm super into it.
It was a banger. That's all that matters.
it's a spiritual successor to Britney Spears.
There's no other way to access these tracks other than through Sirenscape, right? Like, it's not a playlist somewhere on YouTube or anything. It's
Yeah.
strictly from Sirenscape.
If it's on YouTube, it's technically pirated because
Yeah.
No,
stuff.
so they have samplers on YouTube where you can listen to samples of that soundtrack before you buy it. But to actually get the full access to the thing, it would be on Sirenscape's actual website. They are $22 every other month for their everything, sci-fi, fantasy, and board games. It's super cool. Go check them out. Going around the loop, Vex, what do you have going on that you would like to shout out, if anything?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at VexyHexy. You can also find me on every other Thursday with a few people who are here playing Saffron Academy on my channel. It's on every other Thursday at 8:00 p.m. EST. It's a blast. Hera was just on as our guest. And she got we had a rat wedding.
It was great.
It was adorable.
Now I have 2 rat moms.
Yeah. Now Hera
You
has
said
2 rat
rat? I
moms.
think you said rap.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, rat.
Nope.
R-A-T.
Yep.
Aside from that, I'm gonna just say I'm planning to potentially be running a game soon on my channel too. It's gonna be a Lancer game. It's gonna be really fun, I think. I'm super excited. I've been doing a bunch of documents for it. Hera and I spent about 2 hours talking about it today.
Yeah.
So at some point in the future, I'll get that going. Now that I'm a bit more stable in life. And aside from that, I have one more thing, but I'll let Hera announce that because it's hers. And so that's it for me. And you find all of these at Fractured Moon D&D on Twitch.
Friends list down below.
Yeah.
Hera, do you want to go next?
Yeah, since I was mentioned. What Max mentioned is my Masks game that is on her channel. And that is on Sundays, 12:30 p.m. EST. And I'm looking forward to it, and I really want to play because we had some issues with that. I already sacrificed 3 babies and bathed in their blood, so to make sure that it happens. And
No baby will harm me in making of my episodes.
the disclaimer up, yeah. That'll happen, like, hopefully this Sunday next time. We play bi-weekly.
At 12:30 p.m. EST.
Yes. That's me.
Cool. Luke, what do you got going on, if anything?
You can follow me on Twitch now that I stream every few times a week. GRIGXEN. Usually Mondays, some Saturdays, sometimes Wednesday or Thursday or Tuesday. I'm playing Alien Isolation currently.
Nice.
There's a way on Twitch, I forget where in the settings, but you might want to look at it. You can actually set it up so your channel has a consistent schedule. It helps people that
Right,
are
I just
visiting
need
it.
I need to make a schedule first.
Yeah,
I just started a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
So I'm trying to
understandable.
pick which days I want to do it.
Yeah, you've been
I haven't
playing.
filled a lot of that stuff in yet.
You've been playing Alien Isolation recently, right?
Yeah. For the most part. That's mostly what I stream at this point. I'm going to play Outer Wilds afterwards.
Ooh, nice. That's a fun game.
Yeah.
I need to finish that game at some point.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
I'm first going to give another shout out to the awesome PDFs that I've been pulling a lot of books from the library out of. It is a supplement on DM's Guild called Books of Knowledge by Bedjin Games, BENDJINN. They're super cool. All of them have like what abilities they have, a short description of what it does, and how long it takes you to read it to gain those abilities. I also have a couple of things on DM's Guild. The most popular of which right now is the Aarakocra and Kenku supplement that I wrote with Florian from Poison Potion Press called Birds of Paradise. It's super cool. It gives you a bunch of subclass or sub-race abilities for Aarakocra and Kenku that are based after real world birds, and they're super cool. That's on DM's Guild. Go check it out. And my next thing would also lead into Scott's, so I will let Scott go next.
Hey, thank you for watching. Got a lot of shows on this channel. Our next game will be actually tomorrow, Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we continue Chaos Crew, where we're in the School of Dwemer Corps in Undermountain. And Vex is there as a guest who is dating my character's sister, and my character hates his sister. So,
Oof.
and he
There's
saw
a
her
very
naked,
confusing-
even though he really did not want to. Last episode. So if you want to see
peeping in on her room.
if you want to see more awkward situations, then you can tune in, I guess. Then later, as our DM was mentioning, we run Ghosts of Saltmarsh at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where she plays as a character there, and I'm the DM. The group just got done with a bunch of zombie horde survival, tower defense kind of thing going on. They were super worn out, took a long rest, and now they're like, all right, we're going to go to the source and nip them from the bud. So we're going to see how well that turns out tomorrow. And besides those games, I'm also a graphic designer and freelancer. And if you go on my Twitter, I have all of my social media links up in the profile page that lead to my Fiverr gigs and to my DM's Guild stuff. So if you want to go check that out, you can check it out.
And we will see all of you lovely people in 2 weeks when we come back and try and figure out how to not have a war happen.
Yay! Diplomacy!
Yay! Bye,
I think
all.
Onyx is best at.
Just got to tell the truth.
Best at it. Yep, nailed it.